Ketosis versus glycogen. Ketosis, burning fat. Glycogen, that's the energy that you've had in the last 24 hours, 48, 72 hours, okay? And it's kind of like a number of different systems that are holding energy, and you tap into those as and when you want. So the best thing to do is to train in a certain way so that your energy systems become a little bit more efficient. Now, I'm not a sports scientist, although I've done that at university and PTI, and I've got a lot of background, and I train people to, like, people doing events that you need good efficiency on your energy systems, carrying weight over hills, lots of elevation, in the heat, in the cold, etc., etc. And so I'm well placed to kind of have a good kind of opinion on it, I suppose. And this is what I do, and I'm going to discuss a little bit what it is and how it works, etc., and what I take. Okay, so majority of my training, probably 80 to 90% of all my training, and most of that part is in the earlier stages, on my base work, getting all my base work in, is done on an empty stomach. So I stop eating at about 7 o'clock at night, and I won't even be taking on much water after that as well, so that it doesn't disrupt my sleep. When I wake up in the morning, I wait an hour and a half before any caffeine, have a coffee. Within about an hour, 50 minutes, an hour, like the sweet spot kind of for the caffeine to kick in, I then go out for a training session. I might go out for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hour, whatever, okay? And it's predominantly on an empty stomach. I only start taking a little bit of energy if it goes over a certain amount for the level that I'm at that stage, okay? Now, you don't want to go straight into doing what I've just said then. You want to drip feed it. So it might be that you wake up in the morning, you have some porridge oats because it's a little bit low on the glycemic scale, and it drip feeds that energy in over a longer period of time. It might be that you have a bit of a banana or something like that. And if you just stop all that and go straight out and do like an hour and a half, 2.5 hour session, you might feel dizzy, etc., etc. So drip feed it. Just have less and less each day, and then eventually maybe you'll be able to go out on an empty stomach, and your body will start to welcome that, and first of all become more efficient. And what it does, it gets used to work on an empty stomach, so it's got to work on ketosis. Starts burning your fat a little bit. But that doesn't mean that you can't take on energy in the form of glucose, okay? That won't disrupt it, unless you're taking on lots of glucose like we've discussed. But predominantly, for most of my training, for the most part, I'm doing the ketosis stuff. I'm going on an empty stomach. I'm getting used to, for the majority of the session, I'm burning fat. And I do need a little bit of glycogen. The harder you work and over the hills and the longer you've been out, etc., and the harder you're going and the intensity that you're working at, your glycogen stores will start to decline quite a lot, okay? And so you do need that. But during that session, when you do start doing the longer sessions, you can take some fueling along the way, and it won't actually disrupt your ketosis system that much at all, okay? It's the same as maybe a Tour de France cyclist might do, okay? They're spending most of their training so that their body is very efficient on the days that they're actually on their event, okay? So how do I do it? Okay, on the build up to the training, that's what I'm doing. In the latter stages when I'm doing 3, 4, 5 hour sessions over the hills, I've got to start taking that, as I would in racing, okay? But everything's done at a reduced rate. I still take the energy on. I'm still benefiting from ketosis, but I'm also still getting the energy that's needed for that session. And then when it comes into my tapering, etc., I'm doing everything I can to make myself recover. So that might be taking morning fuel from mountain fuel, and the night fuel in the evening that hasn't got a lot of energy in it for the evening to increase my performance, because I've had good recovery over that period of time. On the day of the event, I might drip feed a little bit of the energy fuel, okay? Just a little bit, and it won't be very strong at all. It's probably like 5 parts water and 1 part of that, in the sense that of what, if it says take that with 500 mils and it's 1 scoop, I'll take it with like about 2 litres, and I'll just make sure that I sip that for 2 or 3 hours when I'm actually going on to my event and from when I wake up. During the event, I take these 2. And this lasts up to about 3 or 4 hours. Anything more than that, I might start having something a little bit more substantial, because I find that after a bit of time, you need something a little bit more substantial, i.e. fats, okay? But that's another subject. We're just talking stuff that's really up to 3 or 4 hours. And any questions on that, just give me a shout. So I use those. That's got caffeine in it. That one hasn't. And I normally, depending on how, if it was a Paris 10, I'd probably just take them, okay? And I drip feed the caffeine in. I'd have a little bit of caffeine before I went, but I kind of know my limits, and it's all based on people's sensitivity to that, and there's a way that you can do that as well, but that's on another video. But I'll take that, and I'll start taking it after about half an hour in on Paris 10. Anything else that's a little bit slower and drawn out over 3 or 4 hours maybe, then after about an hour and 20 minutes, I start fueling up, and I try and fuel every 20 to 30 minutes. Now, the script that they give you, especially from Outfuel, even on Elite Outdoor Fitness website, gives you a really good idea of a typical way to fuel, how to optimize. But it's difficult to get that much in, to be fair. So I'm a little bit negative on it, but I find if you fuel too much, all your blood goes to your stomach, and it's a little bit too much for your body to take, and you start to slow and feel a little bit rough, okay? As if your head was getting too hot from exhaustion, from a heat stroke or something like that. That's how it feels, all right? If you're fueling too much, everything kind of slows down because your blood's going to your digestive system. So I just make sure that I got the balance right, and that comes into practice, and that's in that latter stage of 10% in my training. I'm practicing on taking these, and I know my fueling. I just know that on the day, I'm going to be working that much harder, and so I might have to adjust it very slightly. I also ensure that when I'm taking these fueling, that I'm watering well as well, okay? So if I'm taking one of these, I'm necking a little bit of water. Make sure that when you're on your events and you're coming down a big decline, you plan it. So if you're coming down a decline and then you're on like a 20-minute climb, you want to be taking one of those as you're coming down, so that 5 or 6 minutes later, boom, it's in your system. Remember, this is glucose, okay? Your body can't absorb glucose, but what it can do, it can break it down one level to glycogen, straight into your blood, straight into your muscles, and then you utilize it without disrupting your ketosis system. I hope this helps. If you want to go onto my website, you can go, just put in the search, Mountain Fuel. You get a discount if you're a member of the Elite Outdoor Fitness as well, so you can have a look at that. It's quality stuff. That's all I use. I've tested so many different stuff. The blokes there are great. They're more than happy to give you loads of advice and that. The stuff that they give you is all designed to influence your performance on the day or multiple days. Thanks for listening. Chat soon.